It's just time to hear some good news.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Some good stuff that God is doing for people right now. Now, we already ultimately know what the good news is.
Oh, sure. The best news ever.
But what about the good news that he's doing in your life? We'd love to know that. I'm Rob. That's Liz. It's His Morning Crew on His Radio.
Right. And you can text in 800-447-7234. Use that same number to give us a call. But I'll share what happened to us earlier this week.
What happened to you?
Well, we were taking one of our kids in to the dentist, and it ended up being a much bigger bill than I thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be in the 500 range. It was way more than that. So, I was stressed a little bit, like, okay, I've got to tell my husband this information and, just do it with kid gloves.
I hope Joey took it well.
Oh, he did.
Good.
Well, he took it fantastically, but at the same time that I found out about this bill, I went and sat down, was waiting for my son. I opened my email and I had 2 emails back to back that were about other side things that I could pick up. I do some voice work and things like that.
Great.
And I was like, wow, it doesn't matter. Not that I didn't think that God was going to take care of me, but when he shows up, man, just like that. And you're like, it's just that affirmation that I think all of us, and that encouragement that we all need from time to time, to just see it right, smack us in the face a little bit.
That's so good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
800-447-7234. So Vicky already wants to chime in. So what's some good news, Vicky? What did you want to share?
About 3 weeks ago, my dad was working on a roof and the structure collapsed, and he had life-threatening injuries. The doctors told us that day that they didn't think he would survive, but he was discharged from the hospital last Friday to a rehab center, and praise the Lord, he's doing better. So we have prayed over him every day, and I can't say enough about how good God has been.
Have you been able to see him yet?
Oh, yeah, we've been seeing him every day, and yesterday, all along he's recognized us some, even though he had head injury, and yesterday, after he had some sleep, he is totally oriented and conversing normally, was able to talk on the phone with friends. He remembers that it's July. He remembers he's in the hospital. There's still some things that he forgets occasionally, but God has just been so good. He's moving every limb. And we're expecting him to make a full recovery and come home soon.
That is such good news to hear.
And I have to say, I listened to you and have been a supporter for many years. And throughout this, God has given me songs of praise for each day. Thank you guys for always being encouraging on the air.
Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for calling and telling us about your dad, and we'll keep him in our prayers. What's his first name?
His name is Richard.
We're praying for Richard.
Yeah.
Oh, such good news. I love that. Good News Friday.
Yeah, we need some more of it.
800-447-7234.
His Morning Crew.
So I'm thinking, let's go ahead and cancel COVID-19.
Yes!
All together. We're postponing it now. We're just going to cancel it. Not going to reschedule it at
ever.
all. I guess what we're trying to get to is we want to hear some real good news today on His Radio. Hi, it's Rob and Liz.
Yeah, you can tell us about your good news just by texting or calling 800-447-7234. I think it encourages when we hear other people's good news. You start thinking about, hey, you know what? This happened to me, and I didn't share it with anybody.
So Sarah's along with us. I'd love for you to meet Sarah. Sarah, what's your good news?
About 4 months ago when COVID started, my husband and I both got laid off because our businesses shut down, which was just devastating because we have a 1-year-old. But a couple months after that, we both got these amazing job offers that were better than our previous jobs. It's what we needed right then. And then we put a contract on a house, and we closed last weekend. And the first week in our house has just been amazing. And honestly, the whole time, I just knew that God had it all in his hands.
That is so good. So is this your first home that you have as a family?
Yes, ma'am.
That is an incredible feeling, isn't it?
Yes, it was definitely nerve-wracking the whole time because the house got delayed and we were just scared. My whole family was praying that we would get our clear to close and that we'd be able to close in time for us starting our new job so nothing would be complicated. And it just did, and it was great.
And now it's all behind you and you got all this future ahead of you.
It's amazing. I'm just so glad. I've listened to his radio for a while now, and it just always gives me what I need in the morning on the way to work. It always, if I have a hard day at work, it'll give me what I need on the way back to calm down and get ready to just be able to relax at home. And I just can't be more grateful for y'all.
Oh, we're so humbled, Sarah. Thank you for being a part of the family.
Of course.
You're like uplifting and encouraging to us today.
Exactly.
Oh,
and we need that just
what
like
a
everybody else.
Bright
Sure.
spot in our day, Sarah. You are so cool. Hey, love to hear your good news. Here's the number. It's 800-447-7234.
His Morning Crew.
Okay, today we have officially canceled something. I hope you will agree with us. We have no control over it, but we're still going to cancel COVID-19.
Right now for the rest of our lives.
And right? Now, if COVID-19 would just listen to us.
That would be so
that'd
great.
be awesome. So we decided, how about some good news that's happening in your life today? Something good that God's doing at 800-447-7234. And this is Jennifer. Jennifer, what is your good news?
My son Benjamin had went down to Jekyll Island this past weekend to do a youth worship time. And on his way back, he was coming through a town and had someone riding behind him really close. So he was paying attention to that and crossed over into a different speed zone. And when he did, a policeman was sitting there, and he pulled him over. And he asked him and said, "Son, do you know why you were being pulled over?" And he said, "No, sir." He said, "Well, you were going over the speed limit." He said, "Can I have your driver's license?" He went back, and he came back with a ticket. And so he gave him the ticket, and he had explained to the police officer that he'd just come from doing a youth retreat thing. And the cop left. My son pulled up into a church parking lot, and he called me, and he was really upset. He was crying, because he's fixing to move to Greenville, and he was trying to say, "This is going to put me behind on my rent," and so forth. And I said, "It's okay." And my husband and I, we prayed with him, said, "God will provide for you." 20 minutes later, he calls me back, and he said that the police officer saw him pulled over in the church parking lot, came up to him, knocked on the window, asked him what was wrong, and he told him, he says, "I'm just, this is going to set me back. I'm going up here, moving to Greenville, trying to finish my degree." He said, "Son, let me see your ticket for a minute." And he gave him the ticket back, and he handed it back to Benjamin, and he said, "Son," and on the ticket it was written, "Your debt is paid in full. Jesus loves you. This is a warning."
Whoa, my.
Oh, you got to stop.
Well, to top that off, Benjamin looked at the police officer, who was an African-American police officer, and he said, "Sir, do you mind if I get out and I pray with you?" And he said, "No, that would be fine." And he said, "Do you mind if I hold your hand?" And he said, "No." And he said they prayed together. And the police officer, when he finished, looked at him and said, "Son, let me explain to you. You didn't just make my day. You just made my year."
Oh, you are so proud of that boy of yours.
I'm very proud. Yes, very proud.
I love it, Jennifer.
Goodness gracious.
Got a great boy there.
Right, just warms your heart. Both the boy and the police officer just coming together, recognizing, they were hurting.
And here's the thing, Jennifer. That's a reflection of you and your husband.
Yeah.
You have raised him right, girl.
Rob and Liz.
His Morning Crew.
So a couple of things here on His Radio this morning. Yep. One, since all these events have been canceled, we thought we'd do the biggest cancellation ever. This will shock you that we're able to do this. We have officially canceled. Are you ready for this? COVID-19. Woohoo! We've canceled it. It's not going to be any longer. I know we have no control over it, but it feels good to say we've canceled COVID-19.
And you still have to wear your mask. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you still do have to wear a mask.
Yes.
Just to signify we've canceled it. Wear your mask to celebrate. It's Rob and Liz, His Morning Crew on His Radio.
Yeah.
Good news today, please.
We need some good news. We were sharing some of our good news that's happened. I got a huge dental bill, and God help me offset that cost.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
How God does that.
Right.
Okay, so Nancy's along with us at 800-447-7234. Meet Nancy. Nancy, what is your good news?
At first I didn't, but now I do. When the song "Nobody But Jesus" comes on, my granddaughter Kyra, she's still with us. She will oh my gosh, so much going on. Anyways, I showed her the video, and we just sat there and sang it, and that couldn't have been the best thing ever to start my day, because I was going to call and say, I don't have any good news because everything is just seems like it's going again. I'm overloaded, overwhelmed, but I know I am taken care of. So
Yes, you are. And sometimes it takes those little things like that to remind you and me that there is some good that is still happening. God is still in charge of it all.
like everybody's been saying, thank you guys for all your uplifting and Brian Sumner, he has been my best friend since 10 years ago.
Wow.
We started out. And I've never met him, and just Facebook friends, and y'all are just family, and I just can't thank you enough, and I'm going to not cry.
Oh, well, don't make us cry, Nancy. Oh, we love you so much.
Yeah, and I got a text just now of some good news. Cindy said my mom is going to celebrate her 80th birthday today. 4 months ago, doctors didn't expect her to live, but now she has a first great grandbaby.
Aw.
So happy birthday, Mama Carolyn.
That is so great, Mama Carolyn. Thank you for sharing some good news today. It's His Radio.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
If you don't mind, with all this bad stuff that's been surrounding us, we decided let's just celebrate some good news in your life today. I'm Rob. That's Liz. It's His Morning Crew on His Radio.
And we got a text from Tanya, and she said July 7th, she got another grandbaby. This time it's a girl, and it gives her 6. Both of her daughters had 2 boys and then a girl, so congratulations. Robert got such a great text from his wife yesterday about her mom. She just had colon cancer removed, got the pathology back. All the lymph nodes biopsied were negative, and the surgeon thinks cancer is gone.
Good. Oh, okay. That's great news. Elaine's along with us. What about your good news, Elaine?
Tomorrow, we celebrate 50 years of marriage.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is. God has just been with us for 50 years, and we have just been so incredibly blessed.
Elaine, what makes 50 years work?
Oh, my gosh, God, for sure. Because I think that young couples, when they get married, think everything is going to be perfect. And it's not, and we're not. And unless you have God at the center of your marriage, I don't know how you do it. Because we've had our rough times, and times when things could have gone astray and we could have separated. God just kept pulling us together, and we kept counting on Him. That's the only way.
Elaine, we celebrate with you. Happy 50th.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for giving us a day when we can talk about how God is blessing us.
We need this good news, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We do. Thank you.
His morning crew.
Well, we're going to lose another television show, it looks like.
Oh, wow.
I know. The Crown Season 5 is going to be delayed, it looks like, until 2020. 2022.
What's that about?
It is about basically the reign of Queen Elizabeth II.
Oh, really?
Over the British monarchy.
That's the current queen, right?
Current queen. She was crowned in 1953. She's been queen a long time, like 65 years.
Isn't she in her 90s?
She is in her 90s. I want to say 94.
She's just not giving up.
She is not. And you know, the thing is, I mean, she is on it. Like she does her Christmas address every year. She addresses the nation. She always handles it herself. And she's amazing to me. She is amazing. But so it follows her life. See, she had to rise to the throne because her father passed away, King George VI. And she was only 27 when this happened. And she was a young mom, and, you know, she had all that going on, and her parents had 2 children, so she was the heir apparent.
Do you know her whole life because of the show?
No, I just kind of know
You
a
follow
lot.
the royal family, don't you?
I really do. I grew up, I was, I guess, enticed by all of that during the Princess Diana phase when, you know, she was a commoner, as they called her, and Prince Charles. And, of course, you know, I hate the way that all ended up, but...
So the show, what's it called again? Crown?
The Crown.
The Crown. Is it clean?
There are parts of it because they follow Princess Margaret. And no, you need to definitely
That's her
not.
sister, right?
That's her sister. So they call it an heir and a spare. I know, right? Because she was the heir apparent. So they knew when her parents passed that Queen Elizabeth would, you know, she would be queen. Princess Elizabeth would be queen. And Princess Margaret didn't really have to worry about it. And they do show that.
She knows her royal family. Listen to this.
I do.
Wow.
And then so I really enjoy this type of thing. But yeah, I don't really watch the Princess Margaret storyline. So if I know it's going to talk about Princess Margaret,
you're out.
I just skip
Good
to
for
the
you.
next. I love the Queen Elizabeth story so very much because she was given a task, she rose to the occasion, and unfortunately things have kind of not been great the last couple of decades, you know, with her kids, but it happens. So I don't know. But we're going to get a new season. Season 4 is supposed to come out this year. We just don't have a date for it yet.
Okay. Not canceled, just delayed.
Delayed, right. And season 4 is going to be the Princess Diana stuff, so I'm excited.
They must be shooting it now or something.
I think they've finished. They're just editing.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Okay, what is it a topic, something, a subject that that absolutely amazes people or bores people that you know?
What are you saying?
Your friends are like, no way. 800-447-7234. It's Rob and Liz on his radio. She, because of her knowledge, I'm talking about Liz, knows so much about the royal family over in England, she just amazed her senior pastor.
Yes, he texted and he was like, you and Chad, who's the associate pastor, need to talk. He likes the royal family as well, and it amazes our pastor how much the associate pastor knows about the royal family. So he said when, I guess, Meghan and Harry got married a couple of years ago, that Chad just knew everything about the royal family, and Miles just sat there like, what? Yeah.
So I'm sorry he bored you like that, Pastor Miles.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Chad and I are now going to talk. If we have to
Sounds like
Zoom or whatever and talk about the royal family, I'm totally into
hours of conversation.
Oh, I can see it. Like I'm so excited about this to have somebody to talk to.
She tries to talk to me about it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I can talk to my daughter Taylor about it, but she doesn't know like the Diana and before Princess Diana stuff.
Wow.
And I go back quite a bit. Last Tsar of Russia type stuff.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Anastasia?
Huh? Is that a movie from Disney?
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio, although Liz is on a conversation right now. We're talking about how she's into the royal family, and she's talking to this Christy, and they're talking about, hold on a second.
So it was a
This is their conversation. She's not even facing
They were a
me.
long time ago. Like they were in the early to
anything-
mid 1800s. Yeah.
Anything royal family, she's like all into.
She actually.
Okay, well, I'm going to let them get back to their conversation, and we'll see what happens. Our whole royal family chat here on his radio.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Think back to your first car, if you would.
Okay.
Very first car. I'm sure you've got a memory to share with that. Let me tell you about Bob. Bob got his first car. It was a Chevy truck.
Okay.
When he was in his 20s. Got him back and forth to work for a number of years. He just retired.
Okay.
He's been going to work in that truck for 44 years.
The same truck?
The same truck. Wild guess how much he paid for it.
44 years ago, $2,000. I don't know.
$75.
$75 and he still was driving it?
Turned into an antique since he's owned it.
I would think, yeah.
Since it must be over 50 years old because he got it 44 years ago. It must have been used when he got it. So it turns out that the man that he bought it from, his grandson, really desired to have that truck.
I can see that.
His name is Tom. So Tom called Bob and said, hey, do you mind? And so Bob said, sure. Tom said, how much? He goes, well, I bought it for $75. How about $75?
That is such a cool story.
He could have got so much more out of that because it was an antique. Yeah, it's got some rust.
Sure.
Yeah, there's duct tape that's holding the seats together.
But it was Grandpa's truck.
Exactly.
He really could have gotten more money out of it, even from just a sentimental aspect. But giving it to the grandson, that's pretty cool.
For $75. So
I like that.
The grandson now has some grandpa with him again. Because that was
makes me wanna cry.
Grandpa's truck.
That's so sweet. So what was your first car?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're asking me that? It was a 1962 Chevy Nova.
Okay. What color?
Yellow.
Yellow. Was that your choice?
No.
It was just you took it?
I bought
got it.
I bought it for $1. There's a family that had pity on me because I was a homeless kid and I just started working. And so the family's like, listen, if you go get your license and you get insurance, we'll sell you the car for $1. And that's how much I bought it for, $1.
The people in your life, Rob, I mean, honestly, that have blessed you, that is that is awesome.
So, well, if you would have seen, you would have had pity on me too.
Sure, but
It's like, this snot-nosed kid needs something. I was just riding my bike back and forth to work.
Oh my goodness. Well, I had a 72 Comet. That was, yes. And it had Hello Dixie stickers on the back of it. I scraped those. I scraped those along with the paint off. And it was blue. It had a white top. It was the ugliest thing. And I was being a brat. My parents bought it for $200. And I was being a brat and I wouldn't drive it for about a month. And then I was tired of taking the bus, got the keys, got in. Oh, she ran nice.
That was your car, wasn't it?
She went pretty quick. She was nice.
You mean it was fast?
A little bit.
That's what you meant by quick.
Yeah.
How many tickets?
Oh no, no.
Oh, what'd you do? Cry?
I'm not a crier. I'm more of a hi. How are you? I know what I did. Like I will.
So the truth set you free. That was
you know
nice.
it did. Let me go for sure.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
So want to hear this memory of your very first car on his radio. Hi, it's Rob and Liz, 800-447-7234.
Michelle texted in. She said her very first car was a 1986 Ford Probe.
I remember those.
When I see the picture, yes, then I remember, but I couldn't have picked it out. It's just not one that stuck out in my head. But she loved it.
They're kind of sporty.
Yeah, they
Did
are.
she mention how much she bought it for?
No, $500, I think.
$500.
Yes, $500.
Wow, what a deal.
I know. And then Lillian, she is now 31 years old. She was 16 at the time, and she said her first car was a 1973 F100. It was orange. It was loud. When she drove it to school, she got picked on. She said, I don't care. It is my daddy's car. It was her daddy's car. And it is fast.
It is fast, and you know she's coming.
Exactly.
That's why you give kids a bad muffler. So you know when they leave the house if it's the middle of the night. Did that for my oldest son.
Right?
Smart.
You know.
That's how you do it. Okay, John's along with us. What about the first car, John? What's the story you have to share?
My mother will be 95 Saturday. She's in great shape. She still drives. I won't ride with her, but she still drives. When she bought a car like 10 years ago, she got first-time buyers because they said, you never bought a car. Mom said, no, Dad always bought the cars. Dad had just passed away before that. So Ford gave her first-time buyers. So she's writing a check out for the deposit. The young salesman, he's about 21. So he says, well, Miss Margaret, he says, you got lifetime oil changes. She looks at him, she looks at me, she looks back at him, she goes, what's that, about 10? He goes, no, you got lifetime. She goes, son, I'm 86 years old. I only drive 2,500 miles a year. How many oil changes can I get? Do the math.
Love her.
And your first car, your grandma's first car at 86.
Yeah.
First car at 86 years old.
Best part of that call is where he said, I am not going to drive with her.
I ain't driving with her. John, you're a pretty cool dude, man.
His morning crew.
Hearing about those first cars today on his radio at 800-447-7234. Hi, I'm Rob Dempsey. That's Liz Riles. Lacey got a hold of us. Here's what she said. Her first car, are you ready for this? Was a 1967 Ford Galaxy 500. She drove it during her junior year at high school. It was her grandmother's car, and Dad gave it to her.
Oh, I bet it was in good condition.
If it's grandma's car, you know it. And the cars made in the 60s, they ran the way they were supposed to.
Right. And
they
still
don't break down in 2 years.
No. Amy said she also got a hand-me-down. Hers was her brother's. It was an 88 Chrysler LeBaron. Had a big crack in the windshield. Didn't have air. Like the headliner was falling down on her head.
Oh, that was one of my cars.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know what gets you from point A to point B? Joanne and her sister maybe had it a little better than I think some of us, because you know what they had?
What?
My son's favorite car right now, a 1967 convertible Mustang.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, that's sweet.
And it was a 67. They bought it in 71, so it was only 4 years old. And so maybe there were some squabbles from time to time because she and her sister had to share it.
Oh,
they both
it's
paid
one of
for
those
it.
cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I bet they had some fun.
You can imagine, right? So Valerie's along with us. What about your first car, Valerie? You're on his radio.
My first car was a 1965 Cadillac It was a 500 horsepower in the 500 block engine, and it was dark blue with a white top.
Ooh, girl.
That sounded like a beast.
It was. My grandmother gave it to me when I was going to school. It was a Cadillac Coupe de Ville. It's a 1965 two-door. Huge car, but run like a top.
What was it like driving that into the parking lot of school?
I had to have 2 parking places. It was long.